Now you play also a very important role in preserving, let's say, your forests. You have a young population, you have a relatively well-educated population. You can use the fourth industrial revolution to create, let's say, fast-track growth for your country.
My commitment will be to add value. We'll be part of the Young Leaders Initiative.
This is Merkel, Tony Blair. They were all, even President Putin, they were all young global leaders before. So if I take you, if I take Chancellor Kurz and the New Zealand Prime Minister, the three youngest leaders of governments are here.
Welcome to another video, boys and girls. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, was the video, and by far in all of my internet searches on the subject, the only reference at all that comes up out of pages upon pages of entering in the words Schwab and Putin, or Putin and World Economic Forum. That is the only clip, the only piece of information that links Vladimir Putin with the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab, in which, as you all saw, Klaus is stroking his own cock, trying to brag to this new world leader about how everyone is part of the World Economic Forum. You will be the next greatest thing for your country, so on and so forth, and dropping all the names from Tony Blair, Merkel, and even Vladimir Putin. Well, and I watched the video and I said to myself, well, okay, that's pretty cut and dry. Except there's a problem. And whenever I find something that is a paradox and doesn't make sense, I have to go and I have to, find out what the fuck is going on here. So I remembered, as we spoke of in our video before, that Vladimir Putin had kicked George Soros' organization, the Open Society Foundation, out of his country. BTFO gave them the boot, said, fuck off, you are not wanted here in Russia. And yet, I enter George Soros and World Economic Forum, and I see that George Soros and the World Economic Forum are well in cahoots. In fact, we click on George Soros, agenda contributor. We can just click on this real quick. Authors, George Soros, founder and chair of the Soros Fund Management and the Open Society Foundations, gives a quick little blurb about how he survived Nazi occupation by joining the Nazis. They left that part out. What a coinky-dink. He's been an active philanthropist, yada yada. Fought apartheid in South Africa. Such a good guy. Nothing to see here. Of course, Russia is terrible for kicking out this Nazi, anti-Nazi, open society bullshitter. So, going back, we go back to the Soros Fund Management. The organization is listed as a part of the World Economic Forum groups. 12 articles from the group. So, very well connected, George Soros and the World Economic Forum. But, is there more? Let's take a look. Now, fortunately for the naysayers and the people who are casting doubt upon the inscrutable character of old Vladdy here, Russian President Vladimir Putin meets with World Economic Forum Chairman Klaus Schwab. So they had a meeting. And what is the context of this meeting, we dare ask? President Putin met with World Economic Forum executive in St. Petersburg, in Russia. Okay. During the meeting, Putin noted the importance and significant beliefs of the World Economic Forum in Davos as an international platform that supports people in their efforts to work openly within the framework of existing international law and establish contacts between business people and government officials. We have always maintained relations with your forum that you founded and we will continue to support it. And of course, Russian representatives have always taken part and will take part in the events you hold. For our part, we are holding similar events, which, of course, aim to establish business contacts with Russia's partners above all else. That's important. We aim to establish business contacts with Russia's partners above all else. We are holding the St. Petersburg Economic Forum here in St. Petersburg, as well as in the Far East, in Siberia, and in southern Russia. So, Klaus Schwab is bragging to this upstart in the video that Putin was once a young leader in the Economic Forum, the World Economic Forum. All right, fine and dandy. So what does Putin actually do? He makes his fucking own economic forum for Russians. I need to make this clear. Vladimir Putin, since becoming president of Russia, has not been acting as a pawn of the World Economic Forum. He's doing the Trump tactic of, speaking softly and beating you harder. And so he continues. Schwab noted that the Economic World Forum and Russia have had a high level of cooperation for many years. I'm sure they have. But wait for it. It has always been important to me that Russian representatives take part in our events in Davos. This has always been of particular importance to me. Our goal, as you already mentioned, is to strengthen cooperation between business people and government agencies. We are convinced that the significant challenges we face today, be it climate and environmental problems or problems of economic growth, can only be solved through cooperation, specifically at the global level. Now, nowhere does Vladimir Putin ever echo these same sentiments. However, it gets a little more dicey. It gets a little more interesting, lads. The plot is always thickening. On January 27th, about a month ago, Putin warns of all against all fight if global tensions are not resolved. Key points of this article. Russian President Vladimir Putin warned World Economic Forum that the coronavirus pandemic has exacerbated pre-existing imbalances and tensions. He said these could deteriorate to a point where there is a fight of all against all. Putin's virtual address at the WEF was unexpected. He wasn't supposed to show up, but he did anyway. Let's see what he had to say. Vladimir Putin warned on Wednesday that the coronavirus pandemic has exacerbated pre-existing global problems and imbalances, and that these could deteriorate to a point where there is a fight of all against all. The coronavirus pandemic has become a major challenge to mankind, and it has accelerated structural changes, the preconditions for which were already in place. He said in a virtual meeting, "We have every reason to believe that the tensions might be aggravated even further," citing experts that have likened the current state of global affairs to the 1920s and the 1930s, and that the parallels could be drawn between then and now when it comes to the scale and scope of what he called systemic challenges and potential threats. He said the crisis had increased social stratification, populism, right and left-wing radicalism, adding that domestic political processes were becoming more violent. All of this cannot but impact international relations, making them less stable and predictable. In the 20th century, the failure and inability to centrally resolve such issues resulted in the catastrophic World War II. Of course, nowadays, such a heated conflict is not possible. I hope it is not possible in principle, because it would mean the end of our civilization. But I would like to reiterate that the situation might develop unpredictably and uncontrollably if we will sit on our hands and do nothing to avoid it. And there is a possibility that we will experience an actual collapse of global development that might result in a fight of all against all. He is not speaking words of peace to the Davos crowd in any way, shape, or form. Putin, whose appearance at the Davos Agenda Summit was not listed on the pre-conference schedule, added that such a fight would mean not only the, quote, destruction of traditional values, but also of fundamental freedoms. A common responsibility today was to avoid such a dystopic future, he added. Since Putin's appearance at the summit, which usually takes place at the ski resort of Davos, Switzerland, and attracts global leaders from the political and business world, is contentious. His appearance was contentious. But Schwab introduced Putin by saying that Russia was a long-standing participant and that it was important that constructive dialogue continue in times of dispute and difference. And it goes on. So basically, Putin shows up and yells at them, offering very, very, very little explanation as to why he's even there. And here we continue. Western nations are considering further sanctions on Russia as a result of the detention. It is already operating under restrictions due to its annexation of Crimea from Ukraine in 2014. Allegedly, is what I'm adding in here, meddling in the 2016 US election, and the 2018 nerve agent poisoning in the UK. It denies the later two, despite overwhelming evidence. So, where are we now with Vladimir Putin and Russia? But maybe you'll have something on him after all, because it appears that Vladimir Putin has a profile on the World Economic Forum. So let's see what we saw that George Soros had one. It gave a really succinct, well, I say succinct biography, but we'll get into that. But let's see what's on Vladimir Putin's profile on the World Economic Forum that he is allegedly a pawn for. Let's click on it. Oh, you hate to see it. The page you are looking for doesn't exist. Actually, allow me to rephrase that. It did exist. And the World Economic Forum has unpersoned Vladimir Putin. Interesting, isn't it? Now, if you're a person of means and you can go back into the Wayback Machine and see when exactly the World Economic Forum removed Vladimir Putin's profile, I'd like that information. I'd like to know exactly when the World Economic Forum unpersoned Vladimir Putin on their website. That is an interesting turn of events, is it not? But what it all comes down to for me here is, well, I think Vladimir Putin, like the good old-fashioned KGB agent he is, was playing the World Economic Forum the whole fucking time. I'm dead serious. I don't think he's an acolyte of Davos. I think he was pulling the pirate style. Take everything you can and give nothing back. Because I don't think we've heard a lie come from Putin's mouth this entire time. However, the only person associating Putin with the World Economic Forum is Klaus Schwab, and he's trying to look big in front of the other potential world leaders on the stage. That's the only person advertising that Vladimir Putin used to be part of the World Economic Forum, because he clearly fucking ain't now. What changed? Why the backtrack? Why this retcon if you're gonna name drop Vladimir Putin as one of your prized pupils? He's not even on your fucking website anymore. But George Soros and his Open Society Foundation is on your website, which Vladimir Putin has already kicked out of his own country. So when exactly did the World Economic Forum unperson Vladimir Putin? And why? So when you're done answering that question, I have to address something else. That there is a notion, a stupid and infantile talking point that if you side with Putin or Russia in the war, that you are being anti-nationalism. Let me explain to you about one of the prerequisites of being a nationalist. You got to be a good neighbor. You got to understand that you have to properly understand the relationship you have with your neighbors. Now, being an American, I have the very privileged position of having Mexico and Canada as my neighbors. And they're my bitches. Guess what Ukraine is to Russia? Their bitch. Now, I did not bat an eye when Trump said, stop all payments to Mexico if they don't do what I want. I didn't bat an eye either. The problem with Ukraine, they forgot whose bitch they are. And when they decided to take the global opinion of Russia rather than their neighborly consideration of Russia, they started to shit where they eat. And they're getting their asses kicked for it, and they fucking deserve it. They made a tactical error in judgment. They chose to put global interests above their own national interests, and they're paying for it. And you know what? To be perfectly blunt, looking at all the stuff that I've found regarding Russia, their politics, and the World Economic Forum, and the Soros Open Society Foundation, look, I hate what Soros stands for more than I might like a few random Ukrainians I'll never meet. So, fuck Ukraine. They brought this on themselves. They knew what the rules were. They knew what the landscape was, and they fucked around and found out. They put globalism above their own country when they decided to backstab Russia and become a NATO ally. That was a fucking mistake, and they knew it when they did it. Fuck Ukraine. As always, everyone, stay carnal and God bless.